How's it going, peeps? It is now time for the Raw results slash highlights and review video. I'll go over the Raw results, what happened, to give you guys my thoughts, my review on the overall show. So it all kicks off with John Cena coming out, talking about The Rock in his match against him. He says The Rock's time is up, his time is now. And unlike last year, he won't predict that he'll win the match, he won't predict victory, but he's focused and ready. And then the Primetime Players music hits, and they come out, and Titus O'Neil is like wearing this afro and wearing some glasses, and he says his name is not Titus O'Neil, but his name is Rufus Pancake Patterson, and they talk for a while. Eventually he says, Darren Young, people say he looks like John Cena. Well, if John Cena is on Fruity Pebbles, the Fruity Pebbles box, then Darren Young should be on the Cocoa Pebbles box. Rufus Pancake Patterson then says he would be John Cena on his own, but he's hurting and whatever, so Darren Young will do that, and John Cena says, okay, get in this ring and I'll show you what it means to be ready for WrestleMania. So Darren Young gets in the ring, they start the match up. It was a pretty quick match. John Cena wins with the Attitude Adjustment. After the match, they show a recap of SmackDown, where the Shield attacked Ryback, and then Mark Henry came to also hit 3 World's Strongest Slams on Ryback. Ryback then comes out for a match against David Otunga, quick match as well. Ryback wins with the Shell Shock. After that, he gets on the microphone, talks about his match at WrestleMania, the 6-man tag team match. Says him, Randy, and Sheamus are going to take care of the Shield at WrestleMania. And as far as Mark Henry goes, their paths will cross before WrestleMania. And then his music hits, but then Mark Henry's music hits, and he comes out, looks like he's about to fight with Mark Henry, but Vickie is on one side, and Teddy Long is on one side, and they tell Mark Henry to stay on the stage. And then Vickie announces that she's taking out Ryback out of WrestleMania, out of the 6-man tag team match, and he's going to be facing off against Mark Henry at WrestleMania, as I predicted, and probably a lot of you also predicted. But anyways, after that, they promote Fandango's debut next. Fandango comes out, and now his entrance is much more flashier. It's cooler, actually. So he makes his entrance, actually, to the ring, and apparently he's mad that Khali didn't get his name right on SmackDown, or butchered his name. So Khali comes out for the matchup, and Fandango calls Khali stupid for not being able to pronounce his name. And then he says he wants to hear Natalya say his name. So Natalya gets a microphone, and she says, Fan Dang, go get him, Khali. And then Khali runs after Fandango, but Fandango gets out of the ring, runs away, and once again says that he's not going to debut tonight, and that tonight was the night that people almost saw him debut. Afterwards, Damien Sandow and R-Truth face off for a matchup. Before the match, Damien Sandow gets on the microphone, trashes R-Truth. Then R-Truth gets on the microphone and says he has a poem. And he says, your beard is weird, you talk too much, and I got 4 sweet words for you, you gon' get got. And then the match begins. And R-Truth was actually about to win. He hit the scissors kick. And Damien Sandow, well, he did win. Damien Sandow rolled out the ring and just left, went to the backstage area, thus getting counted out. So R-Truth wins the match by countout. And then backstage, you see Cody Rhodes with the Bella Twins, and Kaylen comes up to Cody Rhodes. She's like, I've got something to do later or whatever, so we won't be able to meet up or something like that. And I think the Bellas say something then after about Kaitlyn, and Kaitlyn says, as far as she's concerned, they could have this. They could have Cody's mustache, and Cody can have theirs. Taker then comes out. He talks about CM Punk and how CM Punk now made it personal, and that Taker's gonna not just hurt him, but hurt him bad. If CM Punk wants to save his soul to return the urn, then CM Punk appears on the Titantron. Well, actually, before that, you hear somebody mocking Paul Bearer's voice, and it ends up being CM Punk on the Titantron. He's got the urn. He talks about the match at WrestleMania. And while he's doing that, while he cuts his promo, he's like juggling with the urn, throwing it around and stuff, almost making it fall. And he says Taker at WrestleMania is undefeated, 20-0. So you could kind of say that Taker's the best. When it comes to WrestleMania, he's the best in the world that night. But CM Punk is the best in the world 365 days a year. So he goes on to say he's going to beat Taker. And eventually he drops, while he's trying to juggle with the urn, he drops it. And he's like, oh shit. He actually says, oh shit, but I think they censored it out. And that was pretty much it for the promo. And then Team Hell No comes out for a match against Primo and Epico. Towards the end of the matchup, AJ comes out to distract Kane and Daniel Bryan by skipping around the ring like she used to do. But despite that, Kane wins the matchup for his team with a chokeslam on Epico, I think. Epico or Primo, I think it was for Epico. And yeah, so Team Hell No wins the matchup despite AJ's, attempt at distracting them. And then after that, there's an interview with Jericho about his Triple Threats Intercontinental Championship match. He says he's been Intercontinental Champion more than anybody else 9 times, and tonight he gets the chance to make it 10 and go into WrestleMania with a lot of momentum and go in as the IC Champion. And then Fandango interrupts and tries to get Jericho to say his name right. Jericho calls him Fandumbo, and the funniest one in my opinion was Fandango, and a bunch of other, variations. And Fandango says sarcastically that's very funny, and he tells Jericho that he will pronounce his name right. They then had Cody Rhodes versus Del Rio, and Del Rio seems like he has a new theme song. It's like a remix version or sped up version of his theme song. Anyways, it was a pretty good match actually. And Del Rio gets the victory with the cross arm breaker. And then after the match, Jack Swagger comes out and attacks Del Rio. They fight it out. Del Rio ends up getting the advantage, throwing Jack Swagger. Well, they go outside the ring and fight outside too. And then Del Rio throws Jack Swagger against the barricade. And then Zeb Coulter keeps chanting or, screaming to Jack Swagger, get him, get him, get him. So Del Rio then points his eyes to Zeb Coulter, and he's about to, attack him, whatever. He grabs him, but then Jack Swagger comes from behind and hits Del Rio. Swagger then grabs Del Rio and threw him over the announcer's table. And then he says, welcome to Jack Swagger's America. And then as they leave, they see Ricardo Rodriguez. So Jack Swagger clotheslines him and then blocks on the ankle lock. And the announcers the commentators go over how Jack Swagger might have just broken Ricardo Rodriguez's ankle. So Ricardo's down and screaming, and that's about it for the segment. Randy and Sheamus then faced off against 3MB, all 3 of them. Randy won the matchup with an RKO after Sheamus hit the bro kick on Drew McIntyre and Jinder, and obviously Randy hit the RKO on Heath Slater for the 1-2-3. After the matchup, Shield's music hits. They come out, they surround the ring, but then the Big Show's music hits. He comes running down the ring, gets in the ring, and the Shield is now hesitant to get inside the ring and decides to just leave. And Big Show then looks at Sheamus and Randy and points at the WrestleMania sign and then leaves the ring. Then Ziggler had a matchup with Kofi Kingston. And towards the end of the matchup, AJ was distracting the referee, and Kofi Kingston, while Dolph Ziggler was on the outside, he was running on the apron. He was going to do a diving move on Dolph, but Big E attacked him midair. I think it was a clothesline or something, so he took out Kofi Kingston. Dolph Ziggler grabs Kofi Kingston, puts him back in the ring, hits a zigzag, and gets the victory. After the match, Kane and Daniel Bryan come out, and Daniel Bryan says, congratulations. You're the only guy that brought me and Kane back on the same page. And then Kane challenges them to a tag team match. And AJ grabs the microphone and says Dolph Ziggler and Big E accept on one condition. It has to be for the tag team titles and at WrestleMania. And then I think Daniel Bryan grabs the microphone. Well, he already has the microphone, but he says, let me think about that. And then he starts chanting, yes, yes, yes. After that segment, they show the video package promoting The Rock vs. John Cena. And then they had the Triple Threats match for the IC Championship. It was a pretty good matchup. Most of the time, though, as most Triple Threat matches, it was like down to 2 people inside the ring. Towards the end, it was down to The Miz and Jericho for the most part. One of the cool moments in the matchup, at some point, The Miz had Wade Barrett inside. He had the figure 4 locked in on Wade Barrett, and Jericho came inside the ring, hit the Lion Salt on The Miz while he had the figure 4 locked in. And also they had a spot where Wade Barrett has the Miz up for a superplex, and Jericho went took Wade Barrett in a powerbomb position, so Wade Barrett superplexed The Miz while Jericho powerbombed Wade Barrett. At some point in the match, Jericho hit the code breaker on The Miz. But then Wade Barrett dragged Jericho outside the ring and went for the cover, and then Jericho, I believe, grabbed Wade Barrett out of the ring and went for the cover himself, but The Miz kicked out. So towards the end, The Miz hits a skull-crushing finale on Jericho, but before he could fully cover Jericho, Wade Barrett got back in the ring, rolled up The Miz, and got the 1-2-3, thus retaining his Intercontinental Championship. Afterwards, it's time for the contract signing between Brock Lesnar and Triple H. Triple H comes out first, and then Paul Heyman comes out with a bunch of security guards without Brock Lesnar. And, you know, he talks about, they talk for a while, saying that, you know, Triple H will only know the stipulation once he signs it. He teases a couple matches saying Brock Lesnar versus Triple H with Triple H blindfolded. But then he says, nah, that's not it. It's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Triple H with Triple H's hand tied behind his back and his ankles cuffed or whatever. Then he says, no, that's not it. Actually, it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Triple H. And the winner gets Stephanie McMahon, but then he's like, no, it's actually more fitting for the loser to get Stephanie McMahon, and then Triple H starts attacking Paul Heyman and attacking his security guards. The last security guard just runs away. He then grabs Paul Heyman and puts him on the table and starts chopping him and says, since Brock Lesnar isn't gonna come out until he signs a contract, he's gonna take his time and enjoy this. He slaps Paul Heyman around a few more times, and then signs the contract, and then tells Paul Heyman to bring out his monster, and kicks him out of the ring. Brock Lesnar's music hits, he comes out with a steel chair, he hits the steel chair a couple times on the stage, and then, you know, walks down the ramp. Triple H takes down the table, and under the table was a sledgehammer, kind of like, I think that, he's done that before, right? He's done that before. I think it was maybe during the contract signing, no, not with Batista. But Triple H has done that before during a contract signing where he hid the sledgehammer under a table. Anyway, so Triple H has the sledgehammer, Brock Lesnar has the steel chair. Triple H tells Brock Lesnar to come inside the ring. Brock Lesnar instead grabs the steel chair and just throws it at Triple H and stays outside. Brock and Paul then surround the ring, go on the stage, Paul Heyman with a microphone and says, you know, that beating was worth it, just, you know, to get Triple H to sign it. And then he reveals the stipulation is going to be Brock Lesnar versus Triple H, no holds barred. And then he says, oh, I almost forgot, maybe because of the beating, but Triple H's career will be on the line. And that pretty much sums it up. That was the end of Raw. So, what did I think about Raw tonight? Highlights. I really enjoyed the triple threat for the IC Championship. I'd say that was the highlight of the night. That was the match of the night. Rhodes versus Del Rio was also a decent matchup. But pretty much, I'd say the highlights were everything in that triple threat IC title match. And also, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. By the way, I know I uploaded the Mark Henry versus Ryback prediction video at like 8 p.m. So at the start of Raw, or actually a few minutes before, I uploaded that video maybe at like 7 a.m. or something like that. And scheduled it to be published or uploaded public at 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m. actually, but I made a mistake by not double checking the date. The date was for tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Well, I wanted it to be uploaded today at 1:30 p.m. So at about 7 or whatever, I logged on YouTube, and not at 7 actually. It was like 7:50 or something like that. I logged on YouTube, saw that the video was still not public, and realized the mistake, so I put it up as soon, as possible. Well, as soon as I saw it, anyways. So, yeah, pretty cool. Got all the predictions right in one night. I mean, I posted up the Dolph Ziggler, I believe, the Kane and Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler and Big E prediction on Sunday. Got that right tonight, as well as the 6-man tag team match at WrestleMania. Kind of, because it's not officially announced, but I also got Ryback versus Henry Wright. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button. I'd really appreciate it. With that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.